Hello, Ultimate fans, and welcome to UltiWorld's live coverage of the 2017 High School National Invite, presented by Spin Ultimate. I'd like to thank you so much for joining us today for this boys division final between Catholic out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Lakeside out of Seattle, Washington. Got a bit of a late start here. Apologies for that. We had some inexplicable technology failures that we seem to have solved by sheer luck. So hopefully we can continue with the luck through the rest of this game. Thanks for joining us. I'm Charlie Hood. I'm joined today by our news Java Harian, my main man. We're going to talk more about this tournament and Java Harian's vision for this tournament. But Java, how's this game been so far? That's what people really need to know.
It's been a great game. It's great to be here, Charlie, and do this with you. It's wonderful. And we got, arguably, I think they are the two best teams here, duking it out, and it's a great game. Catholic is up a break, and they're looking really, really good right now. And so we'll see what happens.
Okay, we're back. Hopefully, for the final time, we're back, and we have some solid software management here. Catholic is up 5-3 in this boys' final. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. This is the 2017 High School National Invite presented by Spin Ultimate. And we have Catholic in black up 2 breaks on Lakeside in red. And I'm Charlie Eisenhood, joined by our news Java Harian. And we do see here Catholic on offense, looking to work up into the wind. And I'd just like to thank you so much for being with us. Huge hammer, wow. But it's going to trail out of bounds. Tough to get that hammer to stay true up that sideline with its natural flight path, wanting to push it off to the left. That's where it ended up. Yeah,
I think that was a stall 9 that he just bombed it deep. Great defense, though. Great defense from Lakeside.
And this Lakeside team has been stingy with the disc. That's one of the reasons they're here in this final.
You know, I tell you, when you look at the Catholic team, they don't look like athletes, but all of them are, and they all hustle like no other.
Well, they really marched their way to this final. Had their toughest test for sure in the semifinals against Mason, but pulled away late. Mason couldn't keep up. So we see this swing pass float safely out into space. And we'll talk about the matchups here and some of these key players as Catholic takes it away. And Dylan Revere has it and dumps it off to Matt Freeberg, one of the stars on this Catholic team. Now back with Revere. Freeberg breaks the mark. Nick Major.
Very patient.
Very patient. And into the end zone for Tyler Rogers-Immel. And Catholic gets one. It's 6-3.
That was just textbook end zone offense. Vert stack, taking their time. Little handler motion, and then hitting the guy in the open side. Nice and easy. Great to see from Catholic. Very well coached by Thomas Eccles, the head coach, and Michael Aguiar. Thomas Eccles is I actually used to coach him. He was on our Chicago YCC team 5 years ago and also came to Cut Camp and is a coach right now. He's done a magnificent job with this team. He really has, because they weren't very good until this year, and to come this far, this fast, I think it says a lot about the coaching that's been going on there.
Absolutely, and this Catholic team has been a feeder for LSU in the college division, and LSU is slowly getting better every year.
Absolutely.
People waiting for them to make a breakthrough. And this year's senior class, many of which is going to head off to LSU, could be the nucleus for an LSU team that is a successful team out of the Southeast in the future.
Absolutely. In fact, I've had several players come to Cut Camp that have gone on to LSU, Eccles being one, and I was waiting for LSU to just turn it up, right? They have that year where they have that breakout year, kind of like Colorado State this year, right? Colorado State went from being a bottom feeder 2 years ago to being, making nationals this year. Yeah. And so I'm just waiting for LSU's year to do that, and hopefully with this great Catholic program, that's really a lot of times what you need. And if you get a lot of people coming into your program, it's great to see. Great pull from Catholic.
There are instructional observers on the game. You can see Team Orange right on the near sideline. They are not the traditional observers you may know from the college or club divisions. They do not make binding rulings. They only serve to help clarify rules and keep time in the game. But it's a nice sort of segue for youth players to see an observer on the field and interact with them before they go on into higher levels of the sport where observers are more commonplace.
Yeah, and what I'd like to see too right now is that the players are not going to the observers every time there's a call. They are trusting what they know, they're trusting their knowledge, and that's great to see. And that's really what the instructional observers are there for. They're there if there is a question. Ooh, great D.
It's excellent individual defense from Landon Gremillon, but there is a call as, I believe, on the throw. That throw made by Leo Kitchell of Lakeside. And this Lakeside team, pretty small roster, but they have been incredibly successful this weekend. Part of the reason is that they've just been extremely efficient with the disc. They have punished their opponents for giving them the disc by quickly putting in breaks and ending games early.
Ooh,
mistake
a
there.
Rare drop.
John Randolph, perhaps the team's best player.
Yeah, just a rare drop by the world's player, John Randolph.
Catholic with a chance to take half.
Ooh, a high release flick.
Beautiful shot to the end zone for Parker Hanks. And it's a Catholic score as they take half 7-3 over Lakeside. Let's take another look.
Unbelievable. Just a high release flick over the entire defense. Great putt.
All right, since we've had some streaming issues, we're going to keep on cooking here. I know that Java has to go down and give out some awards in just a moment. But before you go, if we have 2 seconds, you know what? Actually, I'll let you go. I'll talk during halftime. We'll talk about the awards that are happening downstairs. And when you come back, we'll talk a little bit about the national invite and the genesis of the tournament. Sound good?
Absolutely. Can't wait for it.
All right. So Java's headed downstairs. We're going to hand out the girls' trophies and awards. So stay with us here during this halftime break. So just to kind of recap the first half quickly, Catholic just all around the better team. They've played better defense. They've been more efficient with the disc when they've had their opportunities. Of course, a mistake like that from Randolph right before the halftime intermission shows you that just not quite sharp enough. But do not be too concerned if you're a Lakeside fan. They have shown a lot of resilience this weekend. They have mostly played from ahead, but they've been able to get breaks when they've gone down. They ended up actually falling behind in the quarterfinals this morning in a great game at Grove and battled back to win that game on double game point. Then they had a tough game with Grady, and it was back and forth, and Lakeside ended up winning in the cap, but no easy games here in the bracket at the high school national invite. So the HB Woodlawn team is coming over to receive their awards. So we will get that set. The stands have filled up slowly but surely as teams have wrapped up play around the field complex here. We're in Rockford, Illinois at the Sports Score 2 complex.
Oh, you're fine.
And we see the Woodlawn girls coming over now. They had a great weekend. I hope you caught our live coverage of the girls' final earlier. They had a fantastic back-and-forth game against Northwest out of Seattle. Woodlawn hails from Arlington, Virginia. And we're getting all set to hand out some awards here. Every member of the championship teams will get National Invite Champions hats that were designed and provided by Spin Ultimate, the merchandiser and lead sponsor of the tournament. There's also some great wooden disc awards and a trophy that we will engrave with their name, and they'll get to keep for the year, but they'll have to bring it back next year as the trophy gets passed on to next year's winner. Already thinking about details for the 2018 High School National Invite. See here some more Woodlawn girls coming to the sideline. And it was the Northwest girls we saw earlier coming over for their second place trophies. So the Woodlawn girls gathering on the sideline after getting a hard-fought win against Northwest. Pretty hot here in Rockford today and really all weekend. Probably high 80s at this point. And playing out on the turf, artificial turf, where the stadium field is pretty hot, extra hot. You can, if you walk out on the turf, you can really feel the heat rising up off of it as black rubber pellets absorb a lot of heat during the day. Some teams yesterday actually opted to not play on the stadium field and instead went and made their own field on a nearby grass location so that they didn't have to play in the heat. I'd like to say a thank you to the tournament organizing crew. You can see Nick Lindeke there on the left. He's the head of the Great Lakes Ultimate Events organization. And now we'll listen to Java.
I'm the director of Cut Camp. With that, I have Nick Lindecki, the director of Glue. We have Erica, who's also with Glue, and we have Charlie up there with Ultiworld. Let's give him a little hand, please. I first want to say that a little bit over a year ago, I approached Charlie and Nick about this idea. After regionals was canceled, I wanted something great to bring together the culmination for the season for top teams in the country. A lot of coaches have been telling me they've been wanting this for years. So they both jumped on board right away. We started putting this together from a year ago, and now the dream has become a reality. So we could not do it without you, the players, without you, the parents, without you, the fans. So let's give all of you a hand, please. Without further ado, we want to go ahead and get the awards given out for the girls division. It was a tremendous girls division, coast-to-coast teams. In fact, finals was a team from the West Coast versus a team from the East Coast. And it would never, what? Yeah, I know. Okay. West Coast, East Coast, right? You know the answer right now. But it was wonderful to see, and it would never have happened if this tournament didn't exist. It would never happen. So that's a wonderful thing. Next year, we want the girls division to max out 16. Hopefully we will, and that'll be wonderful. Let's give a hand for that, all right? So without further ado, I'm going to give it up to Nick. He's going to hand out the awards here.
All right. So let's do Northwestern first. You want to come over here? We've got some...
So first up, the Northwest team will take their second place trophy and second place individual trophies being handed out by Nick Lindecki and Erica Wagner of Glue. And the congratulations certainly due for this Northwest team. After having an excellent weekend, coming in second place here. Certainly a little bit bittersweet for them after they finished in second at their state tournament in Washington as well. Lost a heartbreaking game after having a big lead at halftime and then losing on double game point. And they lost in somewhat similar fashion here as they lost their lead late in the game to HB Woodlawn, led by a stellar performance from Ella Jungst, who had 8 goals in the final in a 13-goal game for HB Woodlawn. And that shows you just how great a game she had. So a quick picture here for the second place Northwest team. They win a couple of Huckett buckets. And a nice moment here for the Northwest girls. Now representing the champions, HB Woodlawn accepts their trophy, their first place awards, and they get to hold the National Invite Cup. Here's Java.
Russo, pronounce it.
They get to keep the trophy for a year as the standing National Invite champions.
And Lucas is Leonardo, right? Who's Leonardo? Oh, no one. Anthony!
Congratulations to HB Woodlawn. They ended up going undefeated this weekend. Saved their best for last, had to battle back from multiple three-point deficits against Northwest in a game where the wind was one of the biggest factors. And they managed to get a late upwind break that set them up for a downwind break to win it. And the team is now, oh, so take a look here. They're going to get a team picture with some homemade shirts. And they also came by to the broadcast booth a little bit earlier to drop off some of the wristbands that they have, Equity Matters wristbands. Bring you into the booth here, give you a look. So they came by and dropped off these wristbands. See there, Equity Matters. So HB Woodlawn has been a team. They were in the news earlier this year for being very vocal about their discontent with Ultiworld's lack of coverage of the girls division at the EULA Invite, and made a YouTube video that got a lot of press and talked about broadly the problems that girls, especially in high school, ultimate face from sort of a lack of maybe support from not only school but also fellow classmates. And they've been very vocal about their desire to have a more coverage of the girls division. And I think, one of the great things about the high school national invite is that becomes possible. And, they've been selling these Equity Matters wristbands, and thank you to them for dropping one off for me. So back down to field level. Java Harrion comes back to the booth. We're getting ready to start the second half here. Java, nice work down there. Pretty great to give out some awards, yeah?
Oh, it's so amazing to see these amazing teams come from all over the country, and really something that we just put together, right, to help youth ultimate grow. And it was great to see the smiles on their faces. I mean, HB Woodlawn was down 10-7 to come back and win. The way they did, it was awesome. It was great, and it was what this tournament's all about.
Absolutely. And we are getting ready to start the second half here. I heard 1 minute from the observer, so players will take the line. And Java, let's talk. I mean, we could hear you a little bit on the broadcast, but let's just talk quickly. When did you know that you wanted to start the national invite?
How long have I No, I've been coaching for 10 years now, and I've seen the sport grow, the youth ultimate world grow. And USAU used to do Easterns and Westerns, which we went to in its final year in 2011. And then, of course, from there they broke off into regionals, and it was great. We had Centrals and Southerns and Northeasterns and Westerns. And really, I heard from USAU that they had the eventual plan to get rid of them. And it was at that time, I remember I was at Cut Camp, and I was talking to Dylan Freechild, and we were like, man, there should be a national championship type thing. There should be something. And every time we talk about with USAU, of course, we didn't really get the biggest response from them. And so when they decided to get rid of regionals, I was just like, this has got to be it. This has got to be what, because everyone would tell me, they're like, I remember I was talking to Steve Conrad, the head coach for Holy Family, and we were at Centrals last year, and we were talking to Dan Robb from USAU, and he was like, even Steve said, he's like, well, what do we have to play for at the end of the season? And he's like, well, your state championship. And the reality of it all is that in most states, the youth ultimate world is not built up enough yet. And so everybody was looking for a pinnacle to their season. And so that's really where this brainchild, if you want to say, formed from, in the sense that we really want to give teams a pinnacle to their season. And I think hopefully we've done that. I think that a lot of teams from the feedback have said this is an amazing tournament.
Second half now underway as Catholic sends the pull downfield. And Lakeside starts on offense, and Java will come back to that point, but I think you're absolutely right. There's something about playing club in the summer, even youth club and playing at YCC, that's not quite the same as playing with your high school teammates. And this tournament does help maybe fill the gap.
Absolutely. There's something about being on a high school team, having that loyalty, being part of your high school, representing your high school. So, oh, wow, we got a great huck here. Good positioning. Oh, a little bit out of reach.
A little too tall.
When you look at these two teams, Charlie, what I'm seeing a lot of, I'll be honest with you, and we actually played Catholic, is that they're used to practicing in 90-degree heat, humidity, and right now they're on a turf, which is probably 93, 94 degrees down there, and they're telling me that they're not bad. They're telling me, like, we're still fresh, whereas other teams are not used to this.
Well, I think one thing we could certainly see is some struggles later in this game from Lakeside just because of the heat and their lack of numbers. They only have 14 players here.
Absolutely. Oh.
And an inside backhand goes nowhere. Miscommunication with the reset, and Lakeside will take over.
Yeah, Catholic didn't look all that clean right there. Their stack wasn't set properly. Let's see what we got here from Lakeside.
Randolph.
Oh.
Shoots it and drops it in. So Lakeside scores upwind. And that's an important score for Lakeside coming out of half. Nice throw by Randolph.
It'll be interesting to see here. I mean, I'm guessing that Luke Johnson, who, by the way, great friend, great coach, used to live here in the Chicago area and now moved out to Seattle and now lives in, I don't even know where he is now. Is he in North Carolina?
He's living in North Carolina as his home base, although I don't know how much time he spends there. He's one of the busiest guys in Ultimate.
Absolutely. But, it's interesting to see what Luke does here with his line calling with only 14 guys. Is he going to run John Randolph all the way until the end on every point? Because it's win or go home, right?
Well, yeah, this comes down to this. How much can you ask of your top guys? The Catholics probably asking themselves the same thing, but they certainly have a deeper bench and are a bit more used to the conditions. This is probably what they've been practicing in over the past few weeks down in Louisiana.
Their coach Eccles told me that, get this, they were having 4-hour practices, 3 to 4 days a week in 90-degree heat on turf. So
Wow.
this is nothing new for
This is
them.
really nothing new.
This is practice for them.
They've had a great season.
Tremendous.
They won high school terminus. That's what qualified them for this tournament, essentially. This team's got rolling invites based on performance during the regular season.
So if you haven't seen yet, Coach Eccles is actually in a suit and tie, and that was because he lost a bet with his players. The bet is that if they win an out-of-state tournament, he would wear a suit and tie for the entire National Invite tournament. And so literally all weekend he's been wearing that, and he told me that he is extremely hot.
I bet he is. I bet he is.
Oh, we got a zone look here from Lakeside. First time all game.
Maybe they can disrupt the Catholic offense's flow. Gremion dishes it back.
I think they're trying to save their legs too. Running a zone with only 14 guys.
Freeberg, far side, fakes the hammer. Big bid underneath. But it ends up in the hands of Gremion.
Actually, the first time the other team has run zone all game.
Dylan Revere scoobers safely to Freeberg, who sends it ahead, and it's patient work so far from Catholic.
Very patient by Catholic. Very patient. Not rushing a throw.
Marching up the field.
Lakeside's man.
Now with Hanks.
Forcing backhand.
Hanks swings. Revere holding. And into the end zone. Catholic pulls it in, and it's 8-4.
Tremendous patience. Great disc movement. Didn't rush anything. They weren't fidgety. They weren't nervous at all. Very well coached, very experienced.
So Lakeside and Coach Luke Johnson there have work to do to climb back into this one. The zone look maybe not effective enough against this patient Catholic team.
When we played Catholic yesterday, we ran zone against them several times. We ran zone 4 or 5 times, and they broke it each time. They're very patient. They never get to the point where they look for the huck or try to get something 30 yards downfield. They'll just take what you give them.
Java, how was your weekend with Neuqua Valley?
It was good. It was good. We a little bit up and down. Came out strong against the number 1 seed in our pool, South Eugene. Won that one 13-9. Then we actually we played Catholic, and we got taken. We got taken big time. 13-4, and I remember walking away from the game saying, like, yeah, they're the real deal, and they're showing it right now. But it was good. We lost to a good Garfield team. Close game. We took half 7-6. They came back to win 13-11. So props go to them. 13-10 actually. So all the credit goes to them. But it was a great weekend, and we finished in 9th place, winning both games today. Finishing strong 13-2 against Fishers.
That's a high-quality win to close out the weekend.
It's just great to see so many great teams out here that would never have played each other if this tournament never happened. And that's what I like to see. I like to see all of the geographic diversity.
So all they do is like, hey, nice big Legends logo.
Well, that's what's so exciting is just matchups that you'd never otherwise see.
So this is a new thing with the instructional observers, right? Is that a lot of the high school players are not used to being offsides, and so they have to be much more conscious of it. So here we go with the pull again.
Pull is up. Lakeside looking to work it down on offense. Comes up ahead to Jack Mellon, and now a shot up the line to a wide open receiver.
Great look.
Not quite into the end zone. It nearly turned over, but
Wow.
dished in for Ben Lewis. The strong cutter for this Lakeside team, and they hold quickly, 8-5.
If you notice the difference here a lot, Lakeside scores quickly, Catholic takes their time, right? And if I feel as though if Catholic can make Lakeside, just take short passes and try to move upfield, I don't know if Lakeside has the patience to do that. I think they're looking for the deep shot a lot.
There's chalk all over my ass.
Hot day here in Rockford.
But the weather actually wasn't that bad, right?
Not bad at all. I think for players, it's probably pretty nice. I mean, it certainly beats playing in the cold.
Absolutely.
And it's not so hot that it's unbearable to be outside.
So at Club Nationals when it was here, what was the temperature? Especially, it was terrible weather, wasn't it?
Well, we had a lot we were back at the same complex. In fact, on this same field for the showcase games at Club Nationals last October. And it was chilly. I don't remember quite what the temperature was, but we had rain on and off and very sort of windy, unpleasant weather. We've had some steady breeze this weekend, but it hasn't been so windy that it's been unplayable.
No.
We haven't seen nonstop zone. I mean, we just saw Lakeside trying to run zone against Catholic, and even though Catholic was going up into the wind, they had no problem moving the disc. And so, the wind has not been sort of ruining teams' offense. So Revere picks it up.
So John Randolph is not on the field right now, getting some rest, doing some D points for Lakeside. Taking a deep shot. Look at that speed.
Great run down. And it drops in for Nick Major and the Catholic score.
It's just pure athleticism, just great speed, great separation from the defense. Can't teach speed, can you?
No, you certainly can. We saw that in the girls' final with Ella Jungst going crazy with 8 goals, leading her team to a win. And it was just the speed that made her so deadly.
Amazing game during the girls' finals, huh?
Oh, it was great.
They were down, HB Woolon was down 10-7, came back to win 13-11. Just awesome to see. Great spirit, great athleticism. It was just awesome. Way to showcase Youth Girls Ultimate.
Weekend winding down. This is the last game of the weekend, this boys' final. Great to be able to bring you both finals. Apologies for some of the technical issues at the start of our broadcast and a bit of sluggishness now. I think the only factor that I can really isolate is that it's literally just too hot for the hardware to keep up right now. It is certainly warm here in the...
It's almost too hot for anybody to keep up right now.
Lakeside offense getting ready, and here's the pull from Catholic. And it lands in and rolls out the back, so it will be brought to the front of the end zone by Randolph. And John Randolph is, I have to say that I don't know where he's going off to college, but he's going to make a big impact wherever he goes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, when you watch him play, his throws, his decision-making, just everything about him, his athleticism, he's really the full package. He really is, and he's almost a coach's dream because whenever he gets a disc in his hands, you really look at the other 6 players on the field because John's going to make the right decision. It's a wonderful thing.
He had some throws in the quarters against Center Grove that helped him win the game, frankly. He threw a 60-yard flick into the wind and weighted it perfectly, dropped it in for the score. Tumbling tent on the far sideline as Randolph goes strike, steps into a big continuation backhand. It's hanging, but Lewis climbs the ladder to pull it down. Lewis looking, backhand, end zone, goal. That's Preston Nelson with the score. That is Walker Frankenbergy.
Lakeside doing what it does best, showing that they got the deep game, showing that when they can get that upline look, they got a great shot. They really need a break now, though. Starting to get to that point where they need to start chipping away at that lead.
Still a lot of time left in the round. There's only a soft cap on the final, no hard cap. But indeed, Catholic's been scoring just too easily, and that's been the problem.
And I see John Randolph is on the line. So Luke is going with his big boys.
We see Leo Kitchell with the disc getting set to pull here for Lakeside. And it's got to be tough with 14 players trying to stay in it and find the legs that you need to get those blocks late in the game, late on Sunday, after a very long day yesterday. They did get the bye round in the final round, but still, with only 14, fatigue starts to set in. Nice pull, lands in, rolls out the side of the end zone.
If I'm not mistaken, Lakeside's the two-time CLC champion the last 2 years.
That's correct. They have been a dominant force up in Seattle. They won Washington State's back in the fall, which is when the boys play their season, unlike most of the country who has their high school season in the spring. And Catholic, easily the Louisiana champion, and also really one of the best in the Southeast. Puck goes up, it hangs, and it's over everybody's head.
All right.
A poor decision there from Gremion.
Here's their break opportunity. Let's see if they can capitalize.
Lakeside's got a shot.
You know, I heard this year, more so than last year, Lakeside was challenged a lot of universe points, but really able to pull away on almost every one of them, if I'm not mistaken, all of them. So they've really shown a lot of resiliency. They've worked through adversity, so this is nothing new for Lakeside to be down. I think that if any team can come back, they can.
Puck goes up, and just a bit too far. And those were the kinds of shots that were there earlier this weekend that haven't fallen in this game. Revere will pick it up for Catholic.
Great tight handler defense by both teams. Great tight handler defense. Just making the handlers work for everything they're getting, all the resets.
Revere resets, and it swings around to Hanks.
And the Catholic offense is very, it's almost very simplistic. They a lot of times, even, as you can see here, they a lot of times even run a one-handler set where they have the ace come down. Two-handler set, and they just make their handlers work.
Puck goes up, easily taken away by Randolph, but a call is a stall called back at the spot of the throw. And it looks like it probably is not contested, so that will be Lakeside disc at the spot of the throw.
And if our viewers don't know, Charlie, am I correct when I say it's 35 minutes to soft cap? And so we're installing a soft cap just for the finals game. Is that correct?
That's correct. So in 35 minutes, we will put the cap on after the conclusion of the point, add 2 to the highest team's total, play to that, and you got to score to win. So there's no time cap that can eliminate a team without having to score.
Deep
Again,
shot.
Lakeside going deep.
There
And
you
this
go.
time they haul it in, and it's a break for Lakeside, and that makes it 9-7.
That's the break they needed. Great look, great throw, great positioning by the downfield cutter. Put himself between the disc and his defender. It was a great job. You can almost see the heat from the turf starting to take a toll even more now as we get into the second half, and now it's going to be about who can dig in and really push through the second half.
Well, we saw the cutter after catching the break score, no energy to even celebrate. Just put his hands on his knees and said, "Thank God the point is over."
Very true, very true. And again, with only 14 guys, look at that. They got the water out there, staying hydrated, doing whatever they can to stay as fresh as they can.
Lakeside trying to claw back into the game. Plenty of time left to do it. And as you see there, they can hurt you fast. They will huck. They're also not afraid to work it underneath.
So Luke's going with his big line again. He's got John Randolph out there.
Catholic will start on the sideline. They look deep immediately. Preston Nelson climbs the ladder.
Wow.
Big sky for Nelson. And Catholic back up by 3.
Great grab out of the sky. Just, again, great athleticism across the board. And that was the first thing I noticed about the team when we played them yesterday, is that they just got great athletes on both lines, and they're doing really well at utilizing them. Crushing for Lakeside. Get the break point, come out, and on one throw.
And that's the thing. Both of these teams capable of beating you in multiple ways. They can beat the zone. They can beat a team forcing them away. They can beat a team forcing them under. And that's why they're both here in the final. Clearly the best two teams here. No fluke that they're both in the final today.
And I really feel, I was talking about this with a coach a second ago before this game started, that I really feel like the 4 teams that were in the semis, for the boys' side at least, were the 4 best teams here, for sure.
I agree. I mean, those were the teams that took the top of their pool. They got the bye at the quarters. Of course, that makes a difference. The other teams had to play an additional game, and that really can sap your legs. There were some close games in quarters, but those teams that earned those byes also earned the spots in the semifinals. And I totally agree, Java. I think we saw those teams yesterday look like the top class of the tournament.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Grady and
Mason.
Mason, thank you. Grady and Mason. And Mason did a great job of winning the first 2 games yesterday, sitting their guys for the 3rd game, resting them with their top guys, making them rest, and it was great.
Here's Randolph. Reset.
Looking for the around, not there.
Good individual defense from Catholic, but Randolph gets free, now steps into a flick.
There you go.
Frankenmuthi hauls it in. Lakeside scores. 2-point game.
In Youth Ultimate, when you have that player like a John Randolph that can get virtually every other and make great decisions and great throws, it's tough to beat. It's tough to beat. It's such a game changer. Luke, I was talking to Luke earlier, and he was telling me he's going to be really sad when he sees John graduate at the end of this year. Really sad.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And a lot of these Seattle players are more and more going to the college champion, Carleton.
Carleton, that's been a feeder for a long time. Seattle players heading out to Carleton. And lately, they've also been going to UNC.
Right.
And we saw Kai Marcus, who was one of the top recruits in Seattle last year. He went to UNC. He's probably going to win Rookie of the Year this year in the college division for his play with UNC.
Absolutely.
And, wouldn't be surprised to see John Randolph have a shot at that award as well when he gets into college. And it's there's so much talent in Seattle. There's so much youth ultimate happening. We were talking earlier with Mira during the girls' final about the YCC teams for the under 16 from Seattle go and just destroy everyone because they have more young high school ultimate. They have more middle school ultimate. They have elementary school ultimate in Seattle, and that's something that's frankly foreign in a lot of places.
Absolutely. And, it all comes down to Disc Northwest, and they met with the public school system and said, hey, we got this game that really costs you nothing. You just need 8 cones and a disc. And they bought into it, and that's been the biggest thing.
It is an excellent
So here we go.
Point. Catholic.
A little bit too far.
Just a bit too aggressive from Gremion. And another chance here for Lakeside to chip away at the Catholic lead.
Big break opportunity here. Big break opportunity. And, of course, who else other than John Randolph goes and picks up the disc? Crowd getting a little excited here as the game starts getting closer.
Yeah, a lot of Seattle fans, a lot of Seattle teams here. Of course, Catholic from Baton Rouge doesn't have as many natural fans here at the tournament. Some parents, big layout almost takes it away, but stepping into a big backhand is Kitchell. Defense on the other side. The second effort grab for the score.
Tremendous. What a great IO rip backhand. And tremendous defensive play, but so hard, right? The disc can float on you.
Masayuki Nagase with the goal. Lakeside now just 1 point away from tying this thing up.
Well, that's why we're here, right, Charlie? We want these close games.
It's been like this all weekend. I've been amazed at how resilient teams are. They'll go down 2, 3, 4 breaks and come back. We've seen some wild comebacks this weekend. No more so. Berkeley in the girls division yesterday down to Roosevelt 8-2, and they come back to win to make the semifinals today.
Unbelievable.
And
unbelievable.
They put up a fight against HB Woodlawn in semis as well, but I mean it's just amazing to think about coming back 8-2. You don't see that happen at really very often at all in the sport, especially at higher levels.
No, and we've actually seen that happen several times. I've heard of teams being down as much as 7-1, 9-1. A team came back from being down 9-1 to force Universe Point. It was awesome to see. So timeout here, I believe, by Catholic, no?
I didn't see who called the timeout, but it would make sense if it was Catholic coming off of another break, giving up. And we've seen teams, they get a lead and then maybe start to take their foot off the gas pedal, even if just slightly, and other teams are ready to pounce.
Well, so here's where, with I believe we got, 22 minutes on the clock until soft cap? Here's where we're going to see a lot of the experience come in with a difference with these two teams. Lakeside seems to be the more experienced team, the more seasoned team that's been in championship games. Catholic being the newer team, are really on the rise this year. Really kind of shocking a lot of people by making the finals. If you were to ask people coming into this weekend, I don't think a lot of people would pick Catholic to be the team to end up in the finals, but they did, and they definitely deserve to be here. So let's see if experience comes into play here.
Well, the top team in the Southeast coming into the weekend was Grady, who beat Catholic at essentially a Southern's regional type tournament, not officially run by USA Ultimate this year, but a lot of the top teams from the South were there. Grady had just a really hot end of their season. Won Georgia State's over Paideia, won Southern's, came in here as the 3 seed, but they fell to Lakeside. And now Lakeside trying to do the same thing to Catholic. Call on the field, pick in the stack.
We're seeing Lakeside stick with virtually the same 7 now for the last couple of points. I think it's, like I said, it's do or die time for them. A lot of discussion occurring right now.
I don't know, perhaps there was also a travel called on Revere. Instructional observers getting everybody set, and now we're back into live action. Revere.
High floaty pass.
Dangerous pass to the sideline, but it's caught.
Great break side look, though.
Marty McGreal is actually a Chicago native, has some family in the area. Finds Freeburg. Pressure mounting from Lakeside. Lots of switching, trying to take away the easy option. Now working it around is Catholic. Strike
Great up line. Great up
Revere
line.
on the goal line. Dish.
There you go.
And the score. Gremion gets into the end zone, and Catholic makes it a 2-point game yet again.
You know, there you can see a little exhaustion. There you can see a little, it's just up line after up line there at the very end. And Catholic is too quick. They're too fast. Their athletes can work, and their handlers can work. It showed right there.
Catholic now 2 points away from a title here at the National Invite. So now the cap situation doesn't matter. This game is to 13. And so it's going to have to be Lakeside. They need to score 4 of the next 6 to win here in Rockford.
You know what's great, Charlie, is when we reached out to these teams initially about this tournament, there was, there were a lot of questions, of course. There were a lot of people were wondering things, but the Seattle teams were all just 100% behind this. They were so excited, and I had players emailing us, being like, when is it happening? How can we get in? Like, what do we got to do? And the excitement of it just kept on building, and it was really wonderful to see because I know that Seattle plays a lot of their games in region, right there in Seattle, and so I think that they were really excited about the opportunity of getting out of that area and challenging against some other teams, and I think they did really well. Seattle. All three boys teams were in the top 8, as well as the girls team. Right, made finals for the girls.
That's right. And we knew Seattle was a strong scene. Wondering how they stacked up against the rest of the country, and I think that's one of the cool things about this tournament is you get to see some cross comparisons between regions. I think what you see is that at the top level, a lot of the teams are very close in skill. And, we have this game here. It's a 2-point game. 2 teams from very different cultures who've never seen each other before. There's a layout catch there for Lakeside. Saves possession. And this forced pass, a good defense from Catholic. And they earn a turnover. Nice job there by Preston Nelson. Made the handler think twice, and then when he threw it too far out in front, Revere picks up, zips it in there to Hanks. Now back to Revere, out to the side for Freeburg. Revere.
Catholic is very fundamentally sound. Throwing around, going up line, just taking what the defense gives them, never forcing it. They're very, very consistent.
Nice job by Lakeside to shut off that break side chance. Revere. Freeburg. Just dominator right now. Freeburg throws the backhand around, and Catholic breaks to make it 12-9.
Wow. And here we are, 1 point away.
So Lakeside has a long hill to go up now. Take another look at that goal. Backhand around. Easy.
And referring to what you said a second ago, back on your point, Charlie, is that was a lot of the talk in the youth ultimate world is, are the CL teams as good as they say they are? Are they as good as, winning state championships and this and that? Because you don't see them head outside of Seattle that much. And this tournament, I think, is great for them because they really came out here and everyone knows how great of an ultimate world is in Seattle. No one's questioning that. Nobody's questioning how great Sakai is and how great Riot is. And you can just go down the list, right, for everything. And it's wonderful. And you saw Washington with Leaf go to college nationals this year. And it was just wonderful, wonderful to see across the board. And so to come here to show that the Seattle youth world really is what people think it is, having the top their three boys teams as well as their girls team play very far into bracket play, I think it shows a lot. But also I think it gave the other teams across the country an opportunity to be like, hey, you know what? We can play with these guys. And we can play and we can even beat them. And the Youth Ultimate World is getting better every year. And that's wonderful to see.
Well, and you know what's amazing? You see this Catholic team out on the line. You know, they play in a state where Ultimate is almost non-existent. There's very little club Ultimate happening. There's hardly any other high school Ultimate happening. And they've managed to get incredibly good despite that. And, you know, big credit to their coaching staff, Thomas Eccles, Michael Aguilar. I've known Aguilar a long time.
Absolutely.
And he's been a great influence on the team. And they have done such a great job as we see Lakeside shooting right away. Just past the outstretched hands of the intended receiver. And that would have been a nice way to get one quickly as the wind howls a bit here. As Nagase just couldn't get quite to that disc. Good layout, but just past his outstretched hands.
You know, and to your point a second ago, talking to Eccles, I asked him and Aguilar what the difference is between their teams in the past and this year. And really in August, they got together as a team, and they basically made a commitment to the weight room. And they had their strength and conditioning coach in their high school create a program for them. And from what they told me, we got turned right there. So here's another break opportunity by Lakeside. And really what the coaches told me is that they just had the opportunity. Oh, sorry, not break opportunities. They're actually the O-line. But really the coaches said is that they all committed to the weight room. They all committed to becoming better athletes, and here's the result. So for any youth ultimate players out there, if you want to believe that the weight room is good, it's important for you, it is. And I think Catholic is a great example.
It doesn't have to just be a youth ultimate player. As Randolph looks to the end zone, and he finds Lewis for a Lakeside goal.
There's that connection again.
The weight room important for everyone in Ultimate. I think a lot of club players could use the same advice. Take another look at this throw from Randolph. Just an easy flick to his most trusted receiver.
All right, so here we go. Double game point.
Well, game point for Catholic. I'm sure Lakeside hopes to make a double game point.
Let's see if they can do it.
They are going to need 3 consecutive scores. And I did say this game would be over 13. It is theoretically possible. If Lakeside scores twice to make it 12-12, we will go to overtime.
Yes.
And it will be win by 2 until we get to the cap. The game is fully capped at 15.
Yes.
So if Lakeside obviously needs to score the next 2.
Yep.
If they do that, then they have a little bit of breathing room. But, of course, they're going to have to stop this O-line twice. And that's been a tough ask in this second half.
Yet to be done. But, hey, you know, we've seen crazier things this weekend, haven't we? And for the fans at home, the wind's picking up. So Lakeside's going to have to go upwind. They got great pull, though, upwind. Great pull.
Game point for Catholic. Looking to win the inaugural high school national invite.
And they run zone. Lakeside comes out in zone.
Not afraid to go back to the zone. Maybe we'll see a transition.
They got guys crashing. Catholic does. Lakeside guys need to step up into it. Let's see if they do.
Revere finds
a
nice
great
seam
find.
And hits Hanks.
Right through the cup.
Freeberg. Now at midfield. Roger Zimmel.
Catholic doesn't look like an inexperienced team. They're confident with their throws. Right through the cup. They don't hesitate.
Major to the
That's
end
game.
zone. And that's it. Landon Grimion scores. Catholic wins it 13-10. They are the National Invite champions.
Wow. If you would have asked me just a few days ago if I would have picked Catholic, there would have been no way. I don't think anybody would have, but they were. They were the best team out here all weekend.
The depth, the ability to play through the heat, and the skill of their offense and defensive lines means that they will take home hardware here in Rockford. On the other side, on the losing side, it was really a great weekend for Lakeside, and for them to get as far as they did with 14 players speaks volumes about the kind of program that Luke Johnson has helped put together in Seattle. Teams headed to the high five line now. See Randolph leading the way for his team in the loss.
Wow, what a game.
And
what a game.
Very appreciative after really a great game. You're right, John.
Absolutely, and two great teams, so well coached, so fundamentally sound. As a coach, I can just say that this is what you want to see. You want to see teams like this that are incredibly fundamentally sound. You can't wait for these players to get to college and see how great they're going to do in college. It's just wonderful to see how much the youth world, it was just 10, 15 years ago that the top two teams that we always talked about were Paideia and Amherst. And two great programs. Tina Booth, Michael Beccarini did an amazing job at both. But now the Youth Ultimate world is so much larger with so many more great teams. It's exciting to see where we're going. And who knows about next year.
All right, well, Java, I'm going to have to let you go because we got to give out awards to these teams as well. Thanks so much for joining me in the booth, and thanks so much for coming up with this fantastic idea, high school national invite. Hey, so quickly before you go, any thoughts on next year's tournament? Because we've already been talking about it.
We have. Well,
changes you want to see, things you want to do differently, timing, what do you think?
Well, the first thing is that I hope we fill out the girls' division bracket.
100%.
100% with 16 teams. I really hope any girls teams out there, I hope that we see you out here. I think it was awesome to see the 8 teams from all across the nation here. We'd like to double that to 16, just like we had 16 on the boys' side. And next year, I think that we're gonna play around with dates a little bit. I know we were talking about that. Hopefully pick a weekend that maybe doesn't conflict as much with maybe graduations, state championships. I know that's why a couple teams couldn't make it that we invited, which we completely respect. And but I think that this is just the beginning. I really do. Something big, something monumental, and I can only imagine. I saw the Twitter on Twitter. Everyone's keeping up with it, so I really feel like that it's going to grow. And I want to say thank you to you, Ulti World, and I want to thank you to Glue because this would never been able to happen without both of you. So thank you.
And certainly I want to say thank you to Glue, who really were the team that helped make this happen. And on here in the ground in Chicago, doing all of the legwork to help make this event a reality. And I was certainly glad to be a part of it. It's awards time now. We're going to stay broadcasting for those that want to watch this awards ceremony as Catholic and Lakeside accept their trophies and awards. But Java, I'm going to let you go so we can head down there and talk. And
I appreciate it. And just so everyone knows out there, Catholic only has 5 seniors.
Wow.
So
perhaps we'll see them right back here at the National Invite next year
right?
to defend their title.
Thank you, Charlie, for your time.
Java, appreciate it.
We love Ulti World.
Thank you. So Arnoush Javaharian joining me here in the booth for this game. Fabulous to have him, and really the brains behind this whole event. And Coach Tom Eccles just got doused. I think water, not Gatorade, but certainly he's probably appreciative of the cooling that he just received after having to be in a long sleeve shirt and pants in this heat. So we're getting set for the award ceremony in just a moment. Spirit Award winners getting their trophy. See them taking their picture right now. I believe that's South Eugene getting the Spirit Award out of Oregon. So congratulations to them. That's an important part of especially Youth Ultimate. It's meaningful to win a Spirit Award, and it should be celebrated. And they played hard this weekend. Long trip for them. So glad to have them out. So again, we're going to keep the cameras rolling here, so if you want to stick around and watch the award ceremony, we'll have that for you in just a moment. But I'm going to sign off here on the broadcast We'll send the audio down to the field level for the award ceremony. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Final score here, Catholic out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 13. Lakeside out of Seattle, Washington, 10. For our new Chavaharian, the Glue Crew, Cuck Camps, and big thank you to our presenting sponsor, Spin Ultimate. I'm Charlie Eisenhood signing off for Ultiworld's live coverage from the 2017 High School National Invite. Enjoy the awards ceremony, everybody.
We already got an official team photo. Yeah, I think we're doing 8th graders, right? Yeah, 8th graders, exchange students.
Let's give a hand for Southie G for winning the Spirit Award. Well, first of all, I want to welcome all of you to the award ceremony at the end of the National Invite. I'm Java. I'm the director of podcast. And this again was my brainstorm that I approached Nick from Blue and Charlie from Multiworld with a little over a year ago. I pitched this idea to them after the regionals was canceled by USAU, and they both bought in right away. A year later, here we are, right? The dream has become a reality. And so I want to give a hand for Glue and for Multiworld for all the work that they've done to help us get here. Before we go any further, there's somebody I want to also thank, and that is these wonderful people to my right. These parents of yours, you have no idea how much they invest in you as players, emotionally, mentally, physically, financially, everything. And so I hope that all of you go up to your parents after today and just say 2 words to them, thank you. Because they do so much for you, it's unreal. So give a hand for all these parents. Another group I want to go ahead and thank are the people that you look to every day in practice, every day during a game, every day in a tournament, and that is your wonderful coaches. They put in hours and hours of time, mostly not getting paid. We do not do this because we get paid at all, but we do this because we love the game, and more importantly, we love the relationships we make with our players. We give a hand for your wonderful coaches, please. So without further ado, this boys division was amazing. It was awesome. We literally had teams from coast to coast. It was great to see a number of Seattle teams come out, Louisiana. It was wonderful to see you guys come up. I know that the tournament was used by our coaches. You guys live in a desert of youth ultimate, so I'm glad to see you guys came up here. But, you know, what I was saying to somebody earlier today is that this matchup would have never have happened if this tournament didn't exist. And this is why we're here, because we want to showcase youth ultimate. We want to showcase you, the players, and show how awesome you are at the best sport in the world. So give a hand to the players. Two great teams took it on the finals. It was awesome to do the color commentary. And you guys should watch it. Without further ado, I'm going to give it up to Nick. He's going to be handing out the awards.
All right. Let's bring up Lakeside first.
Second place, Lakeside.
come on down.
We also want to let you guys know, so this is the new high school national trophy. We have to put your plaque right here. You're going to be here forever. You have to keep this for the year. Just like the Stanley Cup, taking each other out, whatever else. You got to put Kool-Aid in it, right? And when we expect, and then next year, we hope to see you guys back here. But either way, we need this back. Back over. You're in charge. All right, you guys are in charge. I'm about to get you back next year for the next champion. All right? So, hey. All right. You know, everybody gets it for a week, right? Everybody gets it for a week. Hey, congratulations.
never. I've only seen one fight when I coach, and it wasn't like a show. You know, like got up after getting fouled real hard. That's all.
Thank you so much.
The place that it's really cool shit.